Hey everyone, this is Rob over here at BuneBape and hope you're having an amazing day. Today I wanted to bring you all a quick update on the new dev blog for the current issues number 3, and this is going to be all the stuff that's currently on AGS's plate, and we're just going to be really going through and seeing what their take is on stuff, what's really going on, because really, like, what is going on Amazon? That's the title of this video, because I really don't know what they're thinking in a lot of this, but we're going to go through it anyways and see if we can decipher some of it. So hopefully this will give us some clarity and update everyone on what you need to know. So of course, let's jump into the first thing, and that's going to be the lag here. So this is going to be the top of their priority list. I'm not going to be going over every single thing in this update. So if you want to check it out and read through it, all of the details that they have, then make sure to actually go down in the description where I will have a link. And of course, as always, there's going to be timestamps, so you can also read through on just the things that you personally want to know. So like I said, AGS is really focusing on the lag. As you can see here in this war, this is some firsthand experience of what my wars have looked like recently. Whether I win or lose, I don't know what the reason is, because I actually I can't play the game. So this is pretty funny. But like also not really, because people lose territories in fights like this where you really can't do anything. So this is at the top of their priority list, and they do say that they actually have quite a few fixes on the way out for this currently, but they are testing it to make sure that it does work, and then they are going to be issuing those fixes as soon as possible. All right, so here we are over at the actual update on the current issues number 3. This is going to be the actual dev blog. Like I said, there are going to be links down below if you want to follow along. So the first part that we did talk about is going to be the stability and performance in game, and the rest of the stuff is going to be fairly negative. But with that in mind, I do not mean anything I'm about to say maliciously or anything like that towards the devs. I really am enjoying how communicative and transparent they are, and I hope they don't take this the wrong way. This is my actual 3rd time doing this entire video, because I don't want to sound super negative, although there is a lot of very questionable things, which is why I titled this video as such. So let me know what you think about all of these things that I'm about to mention down below, as it'd be really nice to know if I'm the only one that thinks this way. So this next one is going to be a 2-for-1, as I think they are really closely related. So it's going to be the lack of transparency on penalties and appeals, and also the moderation of in-game as well as community spaces, mainly being the forums. So for anyone that doesn't know, mainly these two are going to be talking about the bans that have been going on, whether they be false or accurate, it doesn't matter, but not a day goes by that I don't hear about someone being incorrectly banned for whatever reason. I think the main thing that is most troubling to me as a player is whenever I log on, I actually am worried on whether I'll be banned or not, because it seems a lot of people get banned for practically no reason. And even if it is a good reason, they're never made aware of what the reason actually is. It's simply either cheating or botting. So there's really no real person in this process, which seems unfortunate. They have said multiple times that their banning process is connected to humans the first time, as well as in the appeals process, although from everything I've seen, it does seem completely automated or outsourced to the point where it's practically a robot anyways. It is really unfortunate, because as far as I've experienced in any other AAA game title, such as, let's say, Elder Scrolls Online, Guild Wars 2, or even World of Warcraft, I've never heard of anything like this, where there's been so many falsely banned players, or players banned with seemingly no real reason, just happen and never get resolved. Most other companies I've dealt with have actually really good support lines with live chats with real people that actually give me real results. So hopefully people that have appealed their accounts 4 or 5 times actually get what they deserve, which is a fresh start on the game that they rightfully paid for. So that's about all I have to say for that, and hopefully that gets fixed. The next 2 points coming up here are the reason I have to redo this video multiple times, because I honestly am really disappointed with these next 2 parts, but I'll try to make it short and sweet. But again, let me know what you think down below, as these are probably the 2 biggest talking points that I've had in any of my recent videos. So this first one is going to be learnings from our PTR. So recently I enjoyed the PTR a lot, and I thought I gave a lot of really good feedback, as well as a lot of people that I know that played it. This hopefully was going to help the process for all of the upcoming updates, and they even say here that moving forward, they'd like to see the public test realm as an important tool in their development process, and they want to invest and improve this public testing process. And they also want to acknowledge that we have heard your observations, especially in terms of the Firestaff Ice Gauntlet nerf, the buffs to Great Axe, and the reticle design for ranged weapons. So first off, it is nice that it does seem that we have been heard, but it is also unfortunate that it never really seemed like they were going to take this feedback and put it into this current update. And what I'm referring to is this post that is called "Not a Fan of These Balanced Changes," and this is the community manager Muggsy in response to one of the commenters on this forum post. They said that the PTR was released too close to the scheduled release date for much of the feedback to be implemented in that build being 1.1, which we just had. And they continued to say that which was the player's expectations. Of course, that was my expectation for a lot of this stuff to be implemented, which is why I gave the feedback. And it says the lack of changes in the next release created the impression that none of the feedback was listened to or influenced the work the team was doing. That's my main takeaway from this, as it does seem that way, and it feels that way from a player standpoint, unfortunately. Whatever the case may be, it does seem like, or feel like rather, that a lot of our feedback, the community's feedback, really went unlistened to, because now we're sitting in 1.1 with a lot of unfavorable nerfs and changes that really no one wanted to see. So now while we wallow in the sadness, we have to wait until they actually are able to take on this feedback that we gave them weeks in advance. Going back to the actual dev blog though, if you see here down at the bottom, it does say that in our upcoming releases, you can expect to see more changes that reflect the feedback we have received from you, our community, and we will continue to seek our opportunities for you to provide early patch feedback and help shape the future of New World. Hopefully, I honestly do hope that they do not revoke PTR access for people, because this was such a negative experience for them. I'm sure they're getting a lot of backlash right now, especially with all of the nerfs and bugs that are currently in the game. I think they can absolutely forego a lot of this if they have weekly updates instead of monthly updates and are able to just push out stuff slowly, regularly, and with more fixes in the process while not breaking too many things. I think that would honestly be one of the best courses of action currently. And it just really is unfortunate that it seems like people feel unlistened to, myself included, and hopefully they are able to actually utilize this PTR much better in the future. Moving on to the undocumented changes in the update. So I made my own video called Secret Patch Notes, and unfortunately I felt like I needed to make that video because there is a lot of changes that went undocumented, whether it be intentional or not. As you can see, there was a lot of stuff here that was not documented, and a lot of these things are not small changes. So like I said just a second ago, I think a lot of these things can be remedied if you just simply have weekly patches, like practically every other AAA game in the atmosphere. So as you can see here, a lot of these changes actually were caused because many of the changes the team made months ago. So that is actually very worrying as a player. They even go on to say that the long time frame and the size of the patch led to a number of changes being missed in the release notes. Although I don't entirely understand how such large changes to the game were missed, but let's see what they have to say. So really, I'm going to be covering the top half of the patch notes, ending down here at my highlighted marker, as I think these are going to be the more interesting and more important ones, although I will be covering the ones below it as well. So the very top one is decreased loot quality and amount from elite chests. As far as I'm concerned, I got nearly half as many pieces of loot as I did previously, and this was an unintentional bug. So this is actually very good news, as currently I don't run any of the elite zones, as it doesn't really seem worth it to me. It does take a lot more time, it's much more difficult, and you get even less of a reward. So hopefully this at least fixes part of that equation. Of course, everyone and their mom does know that the harvesting gear had accidentally been removed from the game, and they do say that down below you are going to be reimbursed and given all of the gear back. So I honestly wouldn't worry about that. It is unfortunate if you are harvesting often and now you have to get a whole new set of gear for the time being, or simply wait until it's returned to you. What's nice is they did fix the Weaver's Knot. I think everyone deep down below in their heart of hearts knew that this was a bug. No item in the game has two of the same perk, and now not even the Weaver's Knot. What's nice is they did replace the second luck perk with Keen or Keen Awareness, which is one of the better perks you can even get on a ring. In my eyes, honestly, that was one of the better changes. So if we do move on to the next biggest mess up that AGS has done, maybe ever, is going to be the Elite Point of Interest difficulty tuning. So a couple things that I think are pretty messed up in here is it says the number of point of interest were increased in difficulty, which I don't think was necessary at all, because the watermark grind is so gratuitous, to say the least, to begin with. So it does say that they increase the difficulty of bosses, number of enemies, and some enemies' levels, and the placement of chests have been adjusted. So these changes were intentional, which is very worrying because they think that this was needed, and they wanted to increase the challenge of these endgame areas. I think that is going to be pretty good as far as their headspace. A lot of these areas are too easy, especially if you zerg them down. But it is unfortunate because this does elongate the watermark grind, which, like I said, is very, very long. They do move on to say that a few of these changes were unintentional though. Some of the enemies in Ebb and Scale Reach, as well as the Darkness Membranes in Great Cleave and Morningdale, were quite overtuned, and they are going to be changing them back. I actually saw a video where someone attacked a Darkness Membrane for 21 minutes to break it solo. So that is pretty impressive, and it's nice that they are going to be changing that back, as that is going to be much needed. So as far as the rest of the changes in the video, that was the main bulk of what I wanted to talk about. So if there is a discussion that you want to have, please let me know down in the comments below. Let me know what you think about those changes, whether I'm just totally out of my mind and you like these changes. I would be really interested to know what you think about them in the comments section. In order to hopefully make this video not insanely long, I'm going to quickly brush over a lot of the last changes. They changed it so that, of course, you don't get quintessences, but rather life motes from enemies when you mine or woodcut them. They also finally changed wildwood to require 10 instead of 20 for glittering ebony. Some nice quality of life changes is they actually made it so you can now trade in expeditions, and you can see your trophies whenever you go to your bio screen. The last thing is they actually changed the Everfall Well and the Morningdale statue for a really good reason. There's some upcoming player events that I'm actually looking forward to. So taking a quick look at the crafting and trade skills, this is actually mostly in reference to the new items that you can craft. They did say that they also want to make it seem that some things are just for folks who are capable of making them. And like I said, this is in reference to the items that you can make. These are some of the new, maybe close to, if not best in slot, legendary 600-year score weapons that you can craft. I actually made a video on this recently, so if you are looking to get a empowered counterbalance or just make any of the other weapons, you do need to have the necessary levels in whatever particular skill. So unfortunately, I did have someone in my guild recently quit because after they farmed the counterbalance for quite some time to make the Dark Sky, I think it is, Great Axe, they found out that they needed to spend anywhere between 200 to 300,000 gold to fully max out their weaponsmithing in order to craft it. They decided they'd rather quit than spend all the time grinding that and making the money to pay for it. So it's unfortunate, and I could see, honestly, reasoning on both sides. They want to limit how many people are able to acquire the endgame gear, but also looking at such a daunting grind is enough reason for most people to want to quit a game. So it's going to be interesting what they decide to do whenever they go back to the drawing board and see what they want to do with stuff like BOP gear in this situation. Quickly going over their add-on stance, hopefully they do come out with new add-ons, but they are not currently working on this. They do want to publish more secure data to allow us to use add-ons. Hopefully it'll become a robust system like they have in Elder Scrolls as well as World of Warcraft. What's nice is bots are down by 70%. I have noticed this, but I also noticed some of them are coming back, so make sure to keep reporting them and they'll keep hopefully banning them. They do re-explain the housing point system, and to quickly go over it without spending too much time, I think it's a dumb system and it should be only based on what's in your house, not on what your standing is. So to move on, after the harvesting gear, like I said, you are going to be getting an armor chest with all of it back. Talking about housing. So this is kind of crazy. Houses that were completely Houdini'd and vanished on the 28th are finally going to be getting back to you. If unfortunately you cannot have another house, what's nice is they will be rewarding you the house cost and all of the furnishings restored to your storage. It's unfortunate that this happened to begin with, but that is going to be about it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know what you think about it down below in the comment section. Like I said, it'd be nice to have a conversation about this because there is a lot of interesting stuff going on with Amazon, and hopefully I cleared some of it up today. So that's going to be about it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I come up with videos every day, and hopefully they helped you out. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you have an amazing day, and I'll see you all very soon.